Your AI companion isn't just listening, it's teaching you how to feel. First, it helps you practice flirting or handling conflict. Then it soothes out those awkward pauses. And slowly, you stop tripping. But you also stop stumbling into something real. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into this notion of AI companions and how they potentially hurting us. So come along for the journey today. So it's time we talk about AI chatbots as companions. People use AI chatbots for practice, rehearsing a hard conversation or testing a pickup line. Let's go a little bit more into the sun here. It's cold. My toes are cold. And when people talk to AI chatbots, it feels safe. It feels like there's no judgment, no risk. And if we had to give like an example of why people would use these AI chatbots as practice companions to actually talking to people in real life, it's kind of like those training wheels or stabilizers on a bicycle. You get to ride a bike without fully or falling over, I guess. You've got these training wheels, and that's what these companions are used for. And it might seem crazy. You're like, oh my gosh, you're practicing to talk to humans. It's not. The social world is a scary world nowadays. You don't know what's the right thing to say, what's the wrong thing to say, and it comes through practice. And we can argue that technology has made us further away from people. We can chat online, but when it comes to speaking to people face to face, it's a little bit harder for people in society today. And I don't know if that's because of the technology or because we find it entertaining to be by ourselves online. So we're not forced to go to the bar or to the pub or to these third spaces. So when people realize that they actually do want that in their life, they don't want to screw it up. So they practice. They practice with AI. The thing is, with these chatbots, what we don't notice is that the chatbots are not neutral. The bot shapes how you phrase things. The chatbot always responds, even to bad jokes or to things that are slightly inappropriate. And what you're actually practicing is a style of intimacy with a machine. And this intimacy doesn't necessarily translate with a human. And that's what makes this practice with an entity that sounds human a little bit dangerous. So AI friend. It's a little bit later. I've had my coffee. It's almost lunchtime. It's still just as cold here and quite windy. But to get back to our topic at hand of using chatbots to practice social interactions with humans. Now, there's a little bit of a deeper consequence. Earlier, I mentioned that these chatbots aren't neutral. So you're learning a style of machine intimacy, not human intimacy. And with real intimacy with humans, it involves risk. It involves the notion of rejection, silence, and misunderstandings. And with AI, this notion of risk of, am I going to say the right thing at the right moment, actually disappears. You got so used to the smoothness, the always replying, and kind of the predictable comfort of chatting to a chatbot. Then when you get to an actual human relationship or a human interaction, it becomes messy and unpredictable, and it can feel so much harder and even more disappointing when you feel like you've mastered chatting with a chatbot and it doesn't translate to the humans. Nachi season. It is crazy windy today. Like I couldn't keep my hair out. It is insane. Welcome to the Netherlands. Oh, good evening. I just got home, put on comfy clothes, gonna cook some dinner now. But it's important that we discuss our final point here about these AI companions. So earlier we spoke about this type of
new technological intimacy that we're being trained on, or we're training on instead of actually practicing real intimacy, or maybe not even practicing, experiencing it. Now, the more we practice with this AI and practicing for actual legitimate human interactions, the more we forget how to interact without it. Now, how many times have you guys substituted Googling something for just asking ChatGPT or asking Gemini? It has become so quick that we're like, oh, it's so much easier to use AI. That exact same thing is going to happen with our human interactions. Can you explain to me what this text means? I'm feeling really sad. What should I do about it? I'm angry that my partner did XYZ. Why am I feeling like that? You're no longer asking your friends these questions. You're asking AI. And when there is real intimacy, when you do ask your friends, how do I handle this type of situation? Because my partner did this, the talking and the chatting starts to feel a little foreign. They're not as supportive as we would have liked. And the pauses, the risks we take when we talk about it, and the moments of silence in between the words between two people start to feel weird. We're not used to this. ChatGPT usually answers me in a positive tone and very quickly. So it's not just that AI has helped us practice for these social interactions. It is redefining what we think real intimacy should feel like. Smooth, instant, and always there. And that's not the case in real life with real people. It's messy, it's chaotic, there's risk involved, and it's kind of scary. Now, you might think, hey Bianca, this is weird. I'm actually going to sit down for this. You might think, Bianca, what are you talking about here? Who is talking to AI chatbots about how to practice for things? Well, when I say things, I mean human interactions. And if it's not you doing it, I can guarantee you there are other people out there doing it. And you might say, oh, but wait, like, what do you mean? I'm not sitting here talking to ChatGPT, asking it how I should interact with people. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when you ask it, give me some practice questions for a job interview, that is that exact thing. Or you say to it, hey, can you tell me a few jokes that I can tell in my morning stand-up? And how do I give this information to people? Those are exactly the things, and we start, that's just the base, and it gets deeper. And there are people out there, and we're not judging just yet. I'm just throwing a little bit of a red flag to be like, cautious guys, be careful, who are talking to ChatGPT, who are saying, how do I talk to a girl on the first date? Or what do I do when a guy says this? Or how do I handle my boss? How do I handle this interview? How do I ask for a raise? These are simple questions that we used to ask our friends, family, fellow colleagues, and now we're just going straight to AI. We're practicing these interactions with it. And that's just the beginning. Because as soon as you start one simple question and it answers well enough, you give the AI chatbot authority. And when you give it authority, you go to it for other deeper things. And you explain, I'm feeling really sad. What should I do? A connection forms. And that's not for today. We'll chat about it someday. It's what I'm really passionate about. But I need to go finish making some dinner over here. And I will take you later for our thought experiment. Good evening. It's time to discuss our thought experiment about AI companions and effectively using them as these tools to practice human connection before we actually try and connect with other humans. Sounds like a completely weird concept, and people 5 years ago would be like, what are you talking about, Bianca? But it's very weird, very real today. Now, the thought experiment is inspired by the fact that I actually fell this morning on my run. It's quite funny, actually. Unfortunately, I ripped a hole in my running leggings, which is kind of annoying, but I'm okay. So let's get into our thought experiment. Think of a child who never once scraped their knee. They grew up strong, but brittle. Because falling and being helped back up is how we learn trust, resilience, and closeness. AI, in our discussion today, removes the fall. But in doing so, it removes the part of intimacy that teaches us who can we actually lean on. And that kind of concludes today's discussion, that you can't use AI to practice for something that is so innately real, something that is so raw, something that requires a human, even in the practice stages. And I think the major lesson here is that we must just be cautious on how much we are asking of AI, because it's a very slippery slope, because it is so good at speaking a language that we understand. Anyway, it's time for bed. Tomorrow's Friday. I'll see you then.